Okay, I think it's on. Namaste. Namaste, Marie Russell here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my cancer journey. It has been now a year since I found out and started my treatment for breast cancer. And I just wanted to kind of give an overview of what the year's been like and some of the things that I've done, some of the things that I think really work, some of the things not so much, and kind of go at it from there. Mainly just a one-year check-in. There's been so many of you who have been so present with me on this journey and sent so much love and energy my way, and for that I'm super grateful and really touched and devoted to you and devoted to healing this in the way that I set out to do it. Also, for those of you who donated to the GoFundMe, I feel kind of responsible to share a little bit about what your money went to, and more than the money, the belief and the faith that you had in me to actually manifest the kind of change and healing that I was going for. So initially, my last video I did about a year ago, 6 months ago, spoke to my cancer treatment that I did in Tijuana, and that's where most of all the GoFundMe money went to. Was the treatment was 3 weeks, and at the time I felt like I really needed it. It was a great opportunity for me to spend 3 weeks and just kind of like go at it in a way that I felt aligned to where I stood mentally and physically and emotionally and spiritually on the topic of having a cancer diagnosis. And it was amazing in so many ways, and I hope that I can go back there. Honestly, I would love to. A lot of people go like once a year, every 6 months, just for an immunity boost, and to have the treatment and the community and the benefits, and that was all just super, super amazing. But really what I think I learned the most was that cancer is something that's ongoing, and that those 3 weeks, I think there was a naivete to think, okay, well, in 3 weeks, I'm just going to heal it. It's going to be done. And so many people there had that experience too, that they came, maybe they'd already had the surgery and didn't want to do the chemo or whatever, but a lot of people had healings in 3 weeks, and so that's all really amazing. But it didn't happen that way for me. So in those 3 weeks, my tumor shrunk in half, and that's awesome. You know, sometimes people don't get that kind of those types of results with chemotherapy. So it was really, really amazing. And after that treatment, I went to Mexico City because I had some work there for 3 months, and that was also just so healing and amazing. And I took what I learned at the Immunity Therapy Center and what I had learned from books and what I had learned from my healthcare guru in Ohio, and was like trying to piece together the right treatment for me. And it included dietary restrictions and just really like limiting my sugar intake big time, which I'm still doing. I mean, refined white flour, sugar, alcohol, things like that, cakes and cookies and all that, which is fine. I don't even miss that at all. And really cutting back on my carbs. So the ketogenic diet, at least following it the best I could, was a really big part of my initial treatment. And I would say, I did really great in Mexico City, and then we went back for the holidays around Christmas, then we came back to Puerto Escondido in January, and like the first quarter, I did as best I could. I was in a new place. It's a little bit harder to get some of the things that I needed here in the jungle. Shipping is not dependable, which I learned the hard way. Running out of supplements is a big fat bummer because it's just really, really difficult to ship things in Mexico. So I think my first 3 months I did the best I could, and I was still fairly committed. I really struggled. It was a new place. I had a lot of stress. Don't like to admit that as a yoga practitioner that I have stress, but I think stress is a part of life in many ways. My coach and mentor used to say that stress is a sophisticated form of fear. So in many ways I was afraid of a lot of things. Am I doing this wrong? Is this going to work? All of that. And so that was kind of like the first quarter of the year. In the second quarter of the year, I started to chillax a little bit around it. I started to change, like just allow more things into my diet, not be so serious about my treatment. I think I kind of got, on one level, a little disenfranchised, like, well, I can't get what I want anyways, so I'm just gonna, see what happens. And I had done such great work. Like I can feel my tumor, so I can tell it when it's growing or when it's getting smaller and so forth. So it kind of was like the same for a while. And I started really focusing on meditation and healing the energy centers in my body and really going deep into meditation. That was amazing. Another thing I did, which I will share, was I got involved in plant medicine. And plant medicine is sacred. It comes from Mother Nature. And I tried ayahuasca for the first time, which was an amazing journey in many ways. It wasn't as deep and strong as I thought it was going to be. It's like a tea that you drink in a ceremony with other beautiful human beings. And it's a bit of a trip through time and space. And in many ways shows you kind of the opposition, shows you the things that need to be healed. It didn't show me anything like that. Mainly it was a full body experience. I had some really beautiful visions. I think the next time I do it, it'll probably be much more potent and powerful. But one thing that I did take away from the ayahuasca was at one point I was kind of sitting with my legs like this and just kind of like feeling the whole thing. It's pretty intense. And I felt all of a sudden this moment, I was like the air. I felt like there was no separation between my body and the air. Like I became one with it. And that was really powerful. And to feel that, not to think that. I think, a lot of us in the higher consciousness community that practice yoga and mindfulness and so forth are really, we know that intellectually. Well, I'm the same energy that created the stars and the sun and the ocean and the blah, blah, blah. We know that, but to feel it is a very transformational. It's very transformational because when you feel something, it becomes like an imprint. It's like, wow, I really am the air. Like, that's amazing. So I felt union. I felt yoga, which is what I've been studying all these years, and it was such a beautiful experience to really embody oneness and connection and just this absence of separation. There was just no separation. It was amazing. And the second type of plant medicine that I got involved with is called Bufo alvarez, or better known as the toad medicine. And it was very interesting because even before I knew about toad medicine or anything like it, I had this meditation in our 500-hour teacher training. And I was just kind of sitting in meditation. I had this vision, and it was kind of this like yellowy green light, and like it looked like the outline of a frog. And I didn't realize it until a few months later when I actually got involved with the Bufo alvarez, and it was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I saw that, and then I saw my tumor in my mind's eye, and I saw it pop, like that. And I went, wow, that was amazing. And so in that moment, I felt, well, I think this is actually going to happen for me, right? Like, all right, this is going to work. It's going to work. And then the Bufo, the opportunity to do that was very miraculous how it came to be. There was a healer here in Puerto Escondido from abroad. He's originally from Mexico, but he lives in Europe, in Berlin, and travels offering the medicine in ceremonies. And it's really offered in this beautiful container of light and love. And there's chanting, and there's a ritual, and a beautiful altar that's set up. And I was really scared and really nervous. But I just felt like, okay, it's my time. I'm going to try this. Like, I want to know, I want to know. And I've always had that since I was a child, like this yearning and desire to know on a deep level, like, what is God? Who is God? How do I relate to God? What is the universe? Like, what's going on here? And this whole cancer journey just really, like, made it my priority, like, in a way that it had never been before. Like, it was always peripheral, like, okay, you've got the yoga, you've got this, you got that, but like you've got to do your life and you've got to do your things. And I was having children and I was trying to run businesses and all this stuff. And And the whole time, it was like none of them were really, I wasn't really excelling in any of the areas of my life. And cancer really kind of popped it, like, hey, pay attention, like, you can do this. So when I tried the Bufo Alvarez, I was with my husband Daniel, and we were with the healer. I don't want to say his name, just in case. And one of his friends who was supporting him in that process. And the first time, we ended up doing it twice. The first time was so beautiful. Like, we do a meditation before and a visualization, and my daughter Ruby came to me in the visualization, and he was inviting us to really see something going on outside. Really see someone that you love, that brings you so much joy and brings you so much happiness in your life. And so my daughter Ruby came into my awareness, and he was just reminding us, it's out there, he was just reminding us to keep that vision with us, because traveling through plant medicine can be very intense, because you will feel every element of fear that you have, and it's quite powerful, and you need to learn how to surrender to love. And to the extent that you know that only love is real, which was definitely a benefit on my end, it's going to be a beautiful experience. But if there's fear, and if there's attachment, and if there's struggle and holding on to the concepts and the way that you think and all of that stuff, the way that you perceive God, it's going to be really difficult, because God is so unlimited. And if you really want God to only be one way, it's, God's like, fine if that's what you want, but that's not what I am. So I had that awareness. My daughter was with me, and so we took the medicine, and I immediately felt like I was space traveling. Like, I was feeling my body shake, and all of this vibrate. I could hear, it was really loud, like I was in a rocket. It was just very, very loud, and just massive amounts of color and vibrations, and I felt all of it, and it was really intense. And it almost felt like I was going to the center of the earth initially. Like I was going deep, 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 deep to the center of the earth, and I go in. And at some point I realized that I'm buried. This is my trip. I'm buried. And I start to feel someone come and start to pour water on my body a little bit. And as the water is pouring onto my body, it was like I was buried under clay, and all the clay started to melt. And starting from my left side all the way out through my right side, I really was feeling this fluid energy kind of moving through my body. It was really beautiful and very powerful. And I think I was crying. I think I felt tears coming down my eyes, and it was like all of the pain that I had carried in this lifetime and all the lifetimes, and not only my pain, the pain of all of the 7 generations of women before me. I felt their pain, and it was like I died. A part of me died. A part of that illusion passed. And as the water was coming out of my body, I felt this uprising, this lifting up of energy. And then I saw my beautiful daughter in my mind's eye, and it was just the love that I felt for her. And she was this angelic entity, and it was so, just the feelings, the awakening in the body was so powerful. It was so beautiful. And the medicine is meant to last anywhere from 10 minutes, something like that, 5-10 minutes. And I had a feeling that it was lasting a really long time. Why is this lasting so long? I started to kind of come out, but I couldn't stop it. I just felt, I was feeling so much love. I was feeling that I was part of the universe, and that I was healing on such a deep level. I could feel all of it moving through my body. I could feel it moving around my tumor, kind of eating away at all of the pain and all of the grievances and all of the resentments and all of the judgments and all of the insanity that I've carried in this life and last. And for all of the women in my lineage, and all of the women not in my lineage, and just all of the stuff. And one of the women who was supporting the shaman in the ceremony started to sing this really beautiful song about the ocean washing us with salty water, And it was just like beautiful. I don't know what else to say except that it was just pure bliss and so beautiful. And there's a few other things, but I'll save that for my book. When it was time, I kind of was like, okay, coming to, and I stood up and I said to the healer and to my husband, I was like, I got to do that again. I just knew it. That was so healing. I got to do that again. So a few days later, we did it again. And the second time was really different. In the visualization, I chose my son, or he chose me. And that one, I really wanted to work on my relationship with him. I just felt like he was 2.5 at the time, almost 3, that it was just, we were struggling a lot. He was kind of like, I don't know, something was off in our relationship. And I just wanted it to be more peaceful, and I wanted to be more present to him. And so he was my visualization for the second experience. And the second experience was really different. I took the medicine and immediately, like, whereas the first time I felt like I was gone, I don't know where I went. I mean, I knew, but I wasn't like present in the reality. And the second trip I was like, I felt the medicine go into my body, and I felt like I became all of it again, like the ayahuasca experience, but even more so intense. Like I was the air, I was the sun, I was the sea, because we were doing this at the ocean, so you can imagine like the waves and like all of this happening, and it was just so powerful. And it was just, people there, and in this ceremony there was a number of other people. There was maybe 5 other people, and so we all kind of held the space for each other, because you do it one by one. And I knew I was dancing. It's like you just don't have control. It's such a rapid dissolution of ego. Like there's just done, no ego, just love. And it's just beautiful. So apparently I was dancing, I was moving. I could feel the planet breathing through me. I felt it very cleansing. I felt very transparent. And in the yoga space, we say often, you're not your body's a tool, it's a learning device. And this was it. Like I felt my body was a learning device. It was not, me. Like there was a part of me in it, but it wasn't me. I was much bigger and much more expanded than just my body. And I'm sharing this with you because the experiences with this plant medicine really have been major in my healing journey. Because I always knew that I wanted to heal, not only on a physical level, that I had breast cancer, I have it still, in my heart center. And that was kind of alarming to me from a yoga perspective, because this is the center of unconditional love and compassion and honesty and all of these beautiful things. And I was just so like, how could this happen? And we can look at the environment, we can look at the stress, we can look at the toxins I was putting in my body. I mean, there's just so much happening. But the plant medicine was healing on such a spiritual level. And I know this from being in the yoga industry and a part of a center of excellence and all of it, that we heal in a holistic way. We heal spiritually, we heal physically, we heal emotionally, and we heal mentally. And I really wanted that to be a part of my journey. Even if I did things allopathically, I knew that I would have to do my work. I just knew that I also felt very confident in my own physical body because of the yoga and because of my studying in A Course in Miracles and metaphysical texts, so forth, that I could do this on a physical and emotional and psychological and spiritual and mental level. So that's what I did. And the plant medicine was huge spiritually, because it really gave me some masterful experiences of feeling the love of God in my soul, like undeniably, like unshakably. I'm like convinced that only love is real. And that was really healing. That is very healing for me. Still, even just sharing the story, which I have not really shared much of it, because I know it's a bit taboo, and what are you tripping on acid or taking mushrooms and all of those things. The healer who came through said, plant medicine can be used as a toy or as a tool. And for me, this was a tool, absolutely. It's a tool, it's still a tool. I'm still processing some of what I learned. I'm only sharing a little bit of it just so I can give gratitude to the plant medicine. And for, thousands of years, humans have known about plant medicine and how plant medicine is healing, and Mother Earth knows how to heal us. And so it's really a returning back to nature. Being in Puerto Escondido has been a major coming back to that rawness of what it is to be a human, to live in the stars, to look at the ocean every day, to see the horizon. There's something just so powerful about seeing the horizon every day. So that's that. That was a huge part of the last 6 months for me. And then I would say that around June, I started to feel like things were not working on a physical level. Like spiritually, I was feeling pretty connected, but there was still a disconnect, happening. And I was feeling swelling and I was feeling pain. For the first time, I was really starting to feel pain, and that was a bit alarming. So I was gratefully going back to the States so I could really stock up on supplements, get really, really clean in my diet, go deeper into the healing with my family of origin, which is always a big part of healing in general. You got to get clean with your people. And so that was really beautiful and some really tender moments. And I'm not sure if it's totally complete, but I'm so much further ahead, and I'm super grateful for that in many, many ways. And then my mother gave me a book called The Medical Medium. And this book was kind of really eye-opening for me in many ways, because I was following a somewhat ketogenic diet, which is a really high-fat diet and low-sugar diet, which excluded fruits. And I was craving fruits. I've been craving fruits for since I found out I had cancer. I remember being in Tijuana, all I wanted for dinner was papayas and bananas, and why do I want all this fruit? I was craving it like never before. And so for this whole time, I hadn't been allowing myself to have it because I was thinking and studying about keto diet and keeping my blood sugar levels stable and all of this stuff. And in this book, Medical Medium, Anthony William, who is the author, really a whole chapter on fruit and the benefits of fruit, and wow. And it was hallelujah. I was so grateful and so thank the good Lord. I'm just gonna eat the heck out of the fruit. That's all I really want to eat anyway. It was a big craving, and I think that there's so many things in fruit that we don't even know about. He talks about it. I read it, but I don't remember all of the different antioxidants and how it all works with your body and your chemistry. But what makes sense to me is that fruit comes from God. It grows on trees. It just makes sense to eat that. And it was all of a sudden it made no sense to me how in the keto diet, if I was using it in terms of healing my cancer, I could have bacon and eggs, and I couldn't have a glass of orange juice and a plate of papaya. It just got to a point where that doesn't make any sense anymore. And I couldn't even eat eggs anymore. I was just disgusted by animal products, dairy. I just was I just can't even deal anymore. And so about 2 months ago now, I just went totally vegan. And, not totally vegan. I've had fish a few times, but no eggs, no dairy. Fish from the sea when I really felt I needed some substance. But mostly just all fruits and vegetables. And I feel amazing. So much better. My pain has gone down sufficiently, significantly. My tumor is so much smaller than it was even 2 weeks ago. Drinking these look at my smoothies, these smoothies with spirulina and all of these amazing superfoods, and I feel so light in my body. I just feel so strong and so centered. So that's kind of my wrap. I'm still on it. I do feel the home stretch. I feel really, really psyched when I feel it, and it's so much smaller. I'm really, really still strong on my supplements because I think that supplements are really powerful, and I do want to bring on my health guru at some point, and I want to show you all my supplements and have her talk a little bit about how they work in the body and so forth. But that's really my wrap of my cancer, what it's been like for this last year. And I'm really kind of starting this year off, this school year, if you will, just super inspired and really grateful, and living in the state of love. I feel fantastic. I feel very energetic. I really never felt like I had cancer. I've certainly had some days where I had a lot of pain that I couldn't really do things I wanted to do, but I think overall this has taught me how to really value my beingness, to value my intuition, to value my feminine energy, healing on the right side, so healing my masculine energy, healing my relationship to the masculine energy, to this idea of production and doing, and this aggressive anger, I think that we all have these imbalances sometimes, and I'll just speak for myself. I know that I'm learning so much, and I just feel like a sponge right now. I'm just absorbing so much information. I'm writing a lot. I finally started my book. It's like, I'll show you. I'm super excited about this. It's like really coming together. Like, I'll just show you. Like, I get to these places where I just have to write. Like, I'll be doing something and I'll be like, oh, there it is. And it's like this dialogue, and I can put it down and pick it up, which is really exciting at any time. But I'm so grateful that it's there for me. I've been really felt like pregnant with a book. I mean, I think it might even be 2 different books. I'm not sure yet. I'm just living in the question. But really connected, just feeling really connected to my inner teacher, my inner guide, and so grateful, living in gratitude for all of the people that have been so supportive and so loving, and really grateful for my work in the world. I'm working so deeply with so many different human beings right now, and I am so convinced. There's a lesson in A Course in Miracles that says, when I am healed, I am not healed alone. And that's what's happening. I am healing, and I am seeing people heal with me, and I'm just so grateful for it all. So I send you so much love, and thank you for watching this video, and thank you for being a part of this big, magnificent, beautiful journey from littleness to magnitude, right? This just beautiful life. So I send you love in this very moment, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say about this, or if anything, and that's it. Namaste. Bye for now.